Thank you, Paddy. Dear Ambazonians, dear televiewers, it is my privilege to be here today to talk about the position of the government as far as the TPS is concerned. I think a couple of days ago, or when this information regarding the possible cancellation of TPS came to our attention, the president gave out an audio, which I believe that this audio has been received by all Ambazonians, at least most of them. In that audio, I think he did mention the position of the government, but I'm just going to reiterate it and hopefully to give more flesh to what has been transmitted today. After we got that information, we read it on New York Times. It came out on Reuters and Fox News. I called the president and we met with the lobbyists and we looked into the possible response. And as the president indicated, uh, the United States government, I mean, it's made up of three branches. You have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. And we all know that the day to day running of the government is actually performed by the executive. They are the driver, at least they are on the driver's seat. And so, as he mentioned, Donald Trump ran on immigration. And now that he's president, he has a mandate to deliver on that. So it is it's on its agenda, top of its agenda, to prove to the American electorate that he is going to stop immigration. Whatever the justification for it is, I mean, that is his mandate. But we are left with the legislative and the judiciary. As President Dr. Sako mentioned, even before the last government left power, we have been working with the legislature on this particular issue. I've been working with all the lawmakers, and as some of you must have seen, we actually had a renewal version of the TPS already signed by about 22 congressmen. So, where do we stand now? We are going to pursue that path with the congressmen and to make sure that it is tabled in Congress and we see what the outcome is. And we just have to be very clear here. Let's know, understand what is going on. The Congress is majority Republican and minority Democrats. Okay? And that's very important. So if we are lucky to have Republican congressmen who believe that we have a very valid case and come on board for that renewal to be approved, that's going to be wonderful. But if they stick along party lines, it's going to be very, very difficult. But that is outside our capability. We cannot force congressmen to do something that their party line uh, uh, thinks otherwise. So we are working with the legislature and those that have heard our call and are willing to help. And so that is where we stand right now. So we're waiting for the outcome when it is presented in Congress. So that's where we stand. But now, what about the judiciary? Because if something doesn't work in the legislature, you have the right to take it to the courts. And this is very critical because that is exactly what Dr. Sako was talking about. Most or all of those on that list, 7,000 plus, how much have they sacrificed to this government in exile so that we can fight for them? We've heard all sorts of messages, negative messages, that one I think, and so on and so forth. Most of these people don't really care much about what is happening. So, in as much as a government in exile, we can do all we can in order to help them. But there is a certain point where we cannot go beyond. And why do I say that? Because if you want to take it to court, it means you have to hire lawyers. We don't just have the money to do that. And just imagine, of the 7,900 on the TPS list, imagine just 4,000 of them are Southern Cameroonians. They're willing to give 1/10 of the draft. That is $100. 1/10. 4,000 times 100. That's 400,000. That is going to move mountains. We are going to hire lawyers who can take this all the way to the Supreme Court. But we don't. We're just being very pragmatic about it. And that's why at this point, we are calling on all other groups or all other, I don't know how to define them, who are equally claiming that they can work to resolve this matter. Let them come on board. Work with your congressmen, work with your senators, see what can be done in order to push this dossier to its finish line. Because at this point, we'll continue working with legislation, with the legislature, but we can't go beyond that. We can't go beyond that. The top priority for Ambazonia is for us to have independence. And at this point, we cannot sacrifice that just for the sake of trying to extend the TPS. So that's where we are. But we are very engaged with the Trump administration in other matters that relate to our sovereignty, and that is still on the table. And we're working very hard to move it forward. But as far as the TPS is concerned, we just have to be pragmatic. We just have to be pragmatic. So we are continuing with the legislature. We are working with the congressmen who have signed that document. We have met with a lot of them in the past. They know exactly what our position is, and they're very, very positive, working towards getting that that piece of that document signed. But remember, we are in a Republican Congress now. It's not a Democratic Congress; it's Republican. So the majority are Republicans. So if it goes to a vote and we don't have Republicans sign on that list, on that document, that is it. We just have to proceed in other matters. And that's where, as the president said,
Yeah.
instead of challenging us, they can join hands to see what they can do in order to help. And we'll welcome that. Over to you, Paddy.